Welcome to another video. My name is Stef. I'm a psychic soul alignment coach. What I do is I work with spiritual entrepreneurs to help them to do very deep levels of healing in order to align themselves with their souls so that they're able to have a greater level of impact, influence, and income as a result of this greater soul alignment, okay? Today's video is going to be all on transforming who you are is the key to making an impact and 10K months, okay? So, I am obviously, because I'm a psychic and I'm into the spiritual stuff, I'm very woo, but I'm also very practical. I'm also very much about the mind. I'm an Aquarius. So I like blending the two things because you need to have the two things in order to really be able to powerfully create your reality and move forward in your life and business. So when it comes to, wanting to make an impact and wanting to obviously make more than enough money to be able to move forward with your business and to continue to invest back into your business to reach more people and so on, right? You want to make that money. There are certain things that need to happen in order for you to do that and to do that consistently. And this has been an interesting journey that I have been on in figuring that out for myself. So first and foremost, you need to understand that reality is just a manifestation of your identity. I talk about this in several of my videos. So if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to check out my channel. You can go up here to the cards afterwards and look through different videos that might interest you. But what reality is, what we're witnessing with our eyes, with our senses, day in and day out, is just a manifestation of our identity, because our identity is what heavily influences our vibrational frequency. Okay, that is our energy. So everything in the world is energy. We're constantly coming into touch with different forms of energy, whether it's in the form of a plastic water bottle, water, a book, a piece of fruit, whatever it is, it's all energy. Our bodies are energy. So everything is energy, and who we identify as far as our personal identity, that is what heavily makes up our own personal energy, our own vibrational frequency. And so this identity that you carry about yourself, the many different things that you believe about yourself, the many different things that you believe about yourself as a business owner, all of that makes up your vibrational frequency. And then reality just reflects that back to you again and again and again, because it's always showing you what you're being a match for. So you need to understand that first and foremost, because if there are things that are not going in your business the way that you want them to, if there are certain things that aren't working out, launches falling through, clients, asking for refunds all the time, or just not having maybe good engagement in your Facebook communities or social media things, or whatever it is, wherever you're dissatisfied in your life and business, that is just showing you that on some level you have things there in regards to your identity and what you are capable or not capable of achieving in these different things as it relates to your identity, right? So for example, right? Let me talk about my personal story. I have a Facebook community. If you're on YouTube, check out the links or in the description of this video, because you can see all the links to my Facebook stuff and my social media things. But I have a Facebook community. Now, when I first started my Facebook community, especially back in 2017 when I started getting into the spiritual stuff, I really didn't see much engagement at all in my community. It was basically crickets. And it was so hard for me to move forward with my group because I really, really wanted to have a group. But it was very disheartening for me to not have a lot of engagement either, because I just felt like I was pouring my heart and soul and sharing everything that I knew that I felt would help people, but yet it wasn't being responded to. It wasn't, being interacted with, and it just made me feel bad. Now, along the way, along my journey, as I've healed different things, I've had to release a lot of limiting beliefs and fears. I've had to release a lot of emotional stuff and heal from that and so on. I shifted my identity. I shifted who I believe myself to be, what I thought I was worthy of, what I felt like I could do in regards to being a leader, in regards to having a Facebook group, all these different things, right? And so as I went on that journey, my group started having increased engagement. I have a very engaged Facebook group that most people don't have. Most people don't have very loving, supportive, amazing people, but most groups don't. Usually in most groups, there's just like a leader and they're dropping their stuff and that's their platform, and that's okay. Like that's how they maybe want their groups. But I didn't want that for myself. I wanted an engaged, loving community, but I knew that I had to shift things inside of myself in order to see that reflected back to me, right? And so I went about that journey of personal healing and development and all these different things to shift who I believe myself to be, to shift what I thought I was capable of receiving, being able to create, and so on. And as I shifted this, my group started shifting, and I now have a very engaged group. So this is the thing, is that whatever you're seeing in your reality in regards to business or your life in general, on some level, you have this certain beliefs about who you are, your identity, that is causing you to vibrate at a certain vibrational frequency that then attracts things that are a match for that version of yourself that you're being, okay? So when you think that you can't do things, when you think that you're unworthy of the money that you want, when you think that you can't launch successfully or whatever it is, that you can only make a certain amount of money, when that forms part of your identity, you're vibrating at a certain number, okay? And when you're vibrating at a certain number, you're going to get things that are a match for that number, okay? And the example that came to me as I was channeling the teachings for this yesterday is, maybe you have gone to a fun park place for children or families, like Chuck E. Cheese, okay? In the United States, they have this place called Chuck E. Cheese. In my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, they have Celebration Station as well. And I love these places. Like, I love going to play the games, right? And maybe you can go and see, there's that Dave & Buster's as well. So there's like different places, right? Now, when you play these games, you get these little tickets, right? And after you get done playing the games, you can use the tickets to go and buy whatever toys or snacks or things that they have offered, that they offer at the little place where they have all the prizes, right? So if you, based on your identity, have only a certain number of tickets, right? Let's say the tickets from, 30 to 50, you can only qualify for this thing. Tickets from 50 to 90, you qualify for these prizes, and they're bigger and better as you move forward, right? So the more tickets you have, the more amazing things you can buy, okay? So now that that is clear, your vibrational frequency works in a similar way. If your vibrational frequency, because of your identity, is low, and you only have a certain amount of tickets or a certain level of energy, you can only qualify for certain things. You will only receive whatever it is that you're a match for, whatever it is that you have tickets for, right? And the things that you want are quite often at a higher ticket level or a higher vibrational level, which means you have to shift your identity, to shift your frequency, to have more energy, have that vibrational match, have those tickets to then get those bigger and better prizes or those bigger and better manifestations, those things that you want. Because otherwise, you're not going to get them. You're just not a match for them. It's crazy to think that you're going to go up to the little prize station with only 30 tickets, and expect to receive a prize that is worth 2,000 tickets. Like, it doesn't make sense. So in the same way, in order for you to manifest those 10K months, that impact, the big shifts in your business, you're going to have to radically shift your energy, which means you're going to have to radically shift your identity, because everything's reflecting back to you who you think you are, who you have been believing yourself to be. And that's the only way to shift that, right? A lot of times you may have seen people who think that if they just do something, if they just apply a certain strategy, if they just take a certain action step, then they're going to get the result, right? And this was definitely my case. As many of you who have been following me for a while, you know that when I first started my coaching journey, I started out as a health coach, and I struggled for a really long time. And I even invested in a business coach. And even though the business coach touched on some things like affirmations and beliefs, they didn't really do deep inner development work. It was mostly the external things. It was mostly, having the branded special website and the branded materials and the copywriting and all these other things to look good, to be able to market oneself and charge high end. And that was what it was. It was all the external things, right? And so as entrepreneurs, as people who want to make a bigger impact, a lot of things we think that, in order to make this bigger impact, in order to make the money that I want, I need to do, I need to apply this strategy because this is what's going to help me to get the most people in, or I need to do this in order to reach more people, or I need to do that, and so on and so forth, right? I need to jump on all these discovery calls or these clarity calls in order to sign on more clients. Now, when those things work for people, because all strategies work, okay? You need to understand, all strategies work, but you have to be in alignment for them to work. And so when they work with people, when those strategies do pay out or pay off, it is because the person was in alignment. It is because they shifted their beliefs about themselves, their energy in such a way where they were able to receive the results from that. But when they apply those strategies, they do the outward things and they're not getting the results. It's because there hasn't been a big enough internal shift to then receive those results. It's super important. I cannot stress how important it is that in order for you to get external results in the reality, you need to work on yourself first and foremost, because you are the foundation for everything. You need to shift who you believe yourself to be in order to get those things. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, plain and simple. And I say this from my own experience because, as I was saying a moment ago, with my whole experience of hiring my first business coach, I was doing all the external things. I was doing the things that I thought I needed to do to move my business forward, to finally make an impact, to finally, make the money that I wanted and so on. I was doing those external things, but because internally I wasn't really believing that I was worthy, that I was powerful, I wasn't really confident and so on, all of that affected my energy. All of that made me not be a match for the things that I desired. And so it wasn't working out in the end. When I finally addressed all my internal things, I went on this process of deeper healing and understanding myself and, understanding my beliefs and all this different stuff. When I finally did that, that's when I shifted my energy enough, my identity enough to start finally having better results in my business. That's the way it worked. See, people do it backwards. People think if I just do, then I'll get. You cannot get from that space most times. Well, ever. Because even if you do things and you get them, it's because on some level you shifted enough internally first and foremost to then get it. But the way to really make sure that you're always receiving what you want, that bigger impact, those clients, the money, whatever it is, you have to work on yourself first and foremost. Everything is just a reflection of you. So you have to change your internal world to have you view yourself, what you believe about yourself, in order to get those things moving forward. Okay? So when you do that, then you're able to, raise your vibration enough to then be a match for those things. So then you get more of those tickets, those metaphorical tickets, to then get those bigger prizes, those amazing things that are at a higher vibrational frequency because you're a match for them, okay? And so when you are shifting your identity, that's when you believe you're truly powerful, that you are worthy of your desires and your success, that you are impactful already, that people see the value of what you have to do, or what you're offering, that you can receive this money. Like when you shift your identity, you become that version of yourself that has the beliefs that are a match for that identity, that version of yourself that has that life that you want. That is how it works. You become that person, okay? In so many different ways. And so your identity is made up of your beliefs, which then are reflected in your actions, in your behaviors, in your personality. It's all of these different things. And so who you have been this whole time in regards to business, in regards to an impactful leader, you have certain beliefs about yourself as a business owner and leader and an impactful person or influencer that have kept you at a lower level than what you want. Because if you want those 10K months and you want all of that success and the impact on the things, okay, you might have certain levels of beliefs right now that got you to where you are, cool. But if you want to get to that next level, you're going to have to shift radically some major beliefs about yourself now, actions, behaviors, your personality, in order to change into a higher version of yourself that is then able to receive those things that you want, okay? So there's this quote, I don't know who said it, but it's like the things that got you to where you are not going to get you to where you want to go or where you're going, right? And that's the thing, is that you need to evolve your identity to get to those higher levels. Otherwise, you're just going to keep yourself where you've been, okay? Now, this is why you must completely identity shift in order to have a different reality. You must completely change your frequency, become a completely different version of yourself, and not different in the sense of, compromising yourself in any way. No, just a more empowered, more evolved, more confident version of yourself. That's what you need to do. You need to really upgrade who you have been, okay? And so that way you're a match for these things, okay? Now, that means that when you want to shift your identity, when you transform who you are and you become this different person to have this different vibrational frequency, you must believe, feel, act, react, show up accordingly as that version of you, okay? That means that you need to recognize where you've been keeping yourself small, what behaviors and beliefs and stuff you need to radically upgrade in order to bring them into alignment with that version of yourself and start showing up as that version of yourself. Now, you need to understand that everything that you want, that impact that you want, those beautiful clients, that beautiful community, the money, the opportunities to help you make your impact, whatever it is, all the things that you want, they are already in existence. They're already there. But if you continue to hold on to a lower vibrational version of yourself, a lower vibrational frequency of yourself, then you're not going to allow yourself to receive the things that are already there for you, because everything exists now. Everything is available to us now, but we have to be a match to receive it. It's just the way the universe works, and it has nothing to do with you not being worthy of it or deserving of it. It's just that you have to be a match. That's all it is, because that's the laws of the universe. And so like energy is just like, it attracts like energy, okay? So when it comes to making an impact and making those 10K months, you really have to get clear on the version of yourself that you need to be to receive those things so you can transform into that person, okay? So that means that you have to ask yourself questions, and these are just some example questions that I channeled with my guides, because there are plenty of other questions that you could ask yourself in regards to this. But these are the ones that they wanted me to share with you guys today. Is number one, how do you spend money? How do you invest money? When you're being that boss version of yourself that is able to have this powerful impact and is able to make all of this money every month consistently, like how do you spend your money? How do you invest in it? How do you feel about it? All of these different things. Because let me tell you, if you keep being the version of yourself, the identity that's so stuck in scarcity and fear and is always holding on to their money and afraid to let it go, afraid to spend, or you have issues with spending on yourself, you feel guilty, and all of these different hangups around money that cause you to be in scarcity, you're being that identity, that version of yourself, that personality that is not a match for abundance, that is not a match for those 10K months. Because that, business owner version of yourself, that boss version of yourself that is making that money is not stressing out about spending $100 or $1,000 because they know, hey, I make 10K months or 10K plus months and it's all good. I know there's more where that comes from. I know I'm going to be provided for because I know who I am, and I know I have the capacity to bring in more money. And so like that boss version of yourselves has no problems with money. They know who they are. They know what they're capable of. They know how they're supported. They're connected to more of who they truly are, their power. And so they don't have issues with money. But if you continue to be that identity that is fearful around money and how am I going to pay the bills and how am I going to do this and I can't spend money right now, especially like with the coronavirus right now and a lot of people not working. If you're like fearful about your future and you're like really holding on to your money and all this other stuff right now, during these times, you're not being the version of yourself you need to be to shift out of that and to move forward into abundance. Because let me tell you, there's so many people right now going through this experience as us, but they're making lots of money. They're having successful launches. They're making multiple six-figure months. Just because some people are out of work and they're not making money doesn't mean that has to be the case for you. But it's going to be the case for you if you keep buying into the identity of that version of you that thinks that. And you're going to keep yourself in that kind of reality. You're not going to be able to manifest beyond that because that's where you're at. That's where your energy's at. So you need to ask yourself these questions. How do you spend money? What do you feel about it? How do you invest it? All these different things. And, what's really interesting that I feel like I need to point out is that situations like right now with the coronavirus and people not being able to maybe work the way they normally work or to bring in the money that they're accustomed to bringing in, is situations like this are going to really show you who you are. They're going to really show you what identity you have been buying into, especially. So maybe you've been thinking, but I am a empowered boss lady. I am sharing my truth. I am doing these things and so on and so forth. Like I do believe I can do this, or that I'm worthy, or you have knowledge of these things. Maybe what I'm saying to you isn't new. Maybe you have this understanding. But if right now you have been triggered around money because of this whole situation and you've been in fear and lack and worry and scarcity and stuff, then that shows you who you have been being. So maybe consciously you thought you were being this bad boss version of yourself. But if you were triggered by this, you were swayed in any way, then that goes to show you were not as powerful as you thought you were being. And that's like straight up, the cold hard truth. I felt like I needed to share because someone needs to hear it, is maybe you weren't really being as powerful as you thought you were being, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because that helps you to recognize, so because I wasn't really in my power, then that's why I haven't been able to move forward with my purpose, my impact, my income, the way that I've been wanting to for so long. And that's just a great opportunity for me to then shift these things, really step into my power so that all of those things can start really flowing, right? So it's not a bad thing. It just helps you to bring to your awareness, where you haven't been noticing things inside of yourself. Because I work with people all the time and I see how, like, especially as a psychic, I can see people's blocks for them that they can't see for themselves. Like, I can see what the issue is and they're not recognizing it, because a lot of times as humans, we don't recognize our own things. It's easy for us to recognize the shortcomings of other people, what other people are not doing. But when it comes to looking at ourselves, sometimes we have trouble seeing that, okay? For so many reasons. And that's why it's so beneficial and helpful to have a coach, because a coach can see your blind spots. A coach can see where you're holding yourself back, and to help you bring that to your awareness so you can move forward. So that's the power of coaching. That's why I love coaching and being coached myself. Because I have those things for myself, even though I have a lot of self-awareness, even though I'm psychic, like there are things that I don't notice or I can't understand or I can't get to the root cause for myself. And I need someone to hold space for me to help me see those things. So this is just an opportunity for you to see where you have not been as empowered as you thought you have been to get the things that you want or to manifest the things that you want. So you can shift that, become that version of yourself to then be a match for your desires, okay? The other questions that they had me to channel for you guys is, what do you believe about your capacity to make money? So what do you believe about your capacity to make those 10K months? What do you believe about your capacity to receive those months consistently, to have that money show up without fail? Like, what is going on there? You need to bring those things up to your awareness, because whatever negative beliefs and stuff come up for you around that, those are the negative beliefs and fears and insecurities from that identity version of yourself that you need to work through. You need to let go in order to shift into that version of yourself that doesn't have any hangups with having this money come in, okay? The next one is, how do you see yourself as a leader or influencer? And this is especially big for those of you who want to grow your social media accounts, for those of you who want to have powerful, engaged communities and so on, is how do you see yourself as a leader or an influencer or a community builder? Because if you have negative beliefs and fears and things around that, then that's because your identity, who you've been being in that moment or up until now, believes that you're not really a leader, believes that you're not really an influencer, or you're not a community builder. And so those are the very things you need to release in order to allow yourself to move forward. So I know I had to work through a lot of this stuff in order to create my community the way it is. I had to work through all of these things to shift internally who I believe myself to be, and to really recognize, no, like, I am an amazing leader. People love hearing what I have to say, and they love being in my group. They love being in my energy, all these different things, to become that person. And that's just what I expect. And that's what I get. And that's what is, right? So we get back what we are being and who we are believing ourselves to be all the time. The next one is, how do you show up in your business? When you are being this high empowered version of yourself that is making the impact, is making the 10K months and stuff, how do you show up in your business? And then look into that. Do you show up consistently? Do you always provide value? Do you confidently provide it? All of these different things, like, think about how you show up in business and how you're showing up now. Because you know what? I see a lot of people, especially like moms, okay? I love those of you who are moms here. And I say this with so much love, because you guys know I call people out on their stuff, because that's the only way for you to move forward sometimes. And I really do mean this with so much love. But a lot of times, moms use their children as excuses for not moving forward with their businesses. Moms use their children as excuses for why they're so tired, why they don't have energy to do these things for their business, why they never have time, why so on and so forth, right? And, I know that it's challenging working with or having children, especially right now with coronavirus and children being at home. I don't have children myself, but I've taken care of children. And I know how crazy it can be sometimes, okay? I took care of two 1-year-old twins and their 3-year-old sister many years ago when I lived in Belgium. And it gets crazy with all these tiny children, especially. So I get it. I understand. It's not easy. However, if you want to be a successful business owner, you're going to have to get into the mindset and the identity of that version of yourself that is able to not just be a parent and, work with these children and stuff, but also move forward with your business, and stop holding on to these excuses for why you can't. Stop using your kids as a shield or scapegoat for why you can't step into your power and create the life that you want. Okay? Because that's not going to help anyone in the long run. So you really need to get out of your own way with that and recognize, okay, so Here is me. Here's how I've been showing up in my business. This is why I haven't been making my impact. I haven't been making that money. Here's the empowered version of me that still has these children, still has to work with them, still has to homeschool them, whatever it is, and is still making bank, is still impacting lives. Because I know so many women who homeschool and they're making multiple six figures, and they have young children, they have multiple children, and they're still doing the thing. So if they're doing the thing, listen, moms, all of y'all can do the thing too. You just have to recognize who you have been believing yourself to be this whole time in regards to being an entrepreneur and a parent and a spouse or whatever it is. And you need to shift those crazy beliefs to become that empowered version of yourself that can do it all, that can have it all, that can show up without sacrificing yourself, without hurting yourself in any kind of way. Because that's a lot of times the limiting beliefs and fears that come up for moms, is they think they can't have it all, that they're going to be tired and all this other stuff. There's definitely healing work some of y'all need to do, especially. There's definitely lots of limiting beliefs that need to be cleared up. But the point is that you can become that identity, that higher level version of yourself that can do it. So go through the process of becoming that version of yourself, okay? So you can show up powerfully in your business, okay? And again, showing up powerfully can also be about the energy that you bring to the things that you're doing. So if every time you're doing Facebook Live, for example, I know this used to happen to me a lot, especially early back in the day when my group was, full of crickets and all this other stuff. I would be so uncomfortable. I would be just like desperately seeking validation. And if people weren't watching me live, if they weren't commenting and stuff, I would just feel so bad. I would feel insecure. I would question what I was saying, what I was doing, all the different things, right? And I was just all of this other stuff. Now, that identity version of myself needed all of that validation. That identity version of myself was full of the insecurity and all of these different issues, right? Now, as I've gone along my journey and I've become more empowered and stuff, the version of who I am today, it doesn't care. It doesn't care if you guys comment, doesn't care if you guys like, doesn't care if you guys don't listen to what I have to say. Like, whoever is supposed to listen to my videos listens to them when they have to, when they're in alignment for it, and it is what it is. And I just let that go. Like, I just come here and I share my truth and I share it with confident energy. I know that what I'm saying is resonating. I know that what I'm saying is powerful. I know that what I'm saying is having an impact, and I just show up and I put it out there, and that's who I am. That's how I show up in business today. Not like in the past, right? So you have to see how you're showing up in business and recognize what your identity has been there, okay? The next thing is, how do you promote your offers, okay? Thank you for all the hearts. I appreciate you. How do you promote your offers, okay? So again, with promoting offers, you really have to be that, powerful version of yourself. I'm trying not to swear. You have to be that powerful version of yourself that is able to confidently show up and promote your offers. So this means you got to let go of all those fears and insecurities around selling and receiving money and promoting and all the different things. You have to let go of that identity that has you feeling all like crazy or uncomfortable with promoting your stuff, or insecure or unconfident with promoting your stuff. You have to recognize what those beliefs are, what those actions, those behaviors, the personality behind it is. You have to recognize all those things and then think about, okay, but what about the version of myself that is able to make this impact and is able to bring in these 10K months? Like, how do they really show up and promote, and how do they feel about it? And all of the different things in alignment with that, and start shifting into that version of yourself. Start moving in that direction, displaying those actions, those behaviors, those feelings, those thought patterns, and so on. The last thing is, what energy do you show up in? So it was just similar to what I said a moment ago about, showing up confidently, is you have to see what energy you show up in, because, it's interesting, but if you show up tired to things, or if you show up not wanting to do things, if you show up feeling unmotivated to things, then you're not at the vibrational level to get the results that you want. Because when you want amazing things in life, your energy has to be at a much higher level. You have to show up in a different energy, higher vibrational energy. So I'm not saying here that you have to be a robot and you can never feel sad and you can never have those down days or whatever it is. No, like, we're all human. We go through things. We have to process, we have to release. So we're going to have those down days for sure. We're going to not feel motivated sometimes. It's okay. But the point is that you need to understand that that version of yourself that has the life that you want, the success, the impact, the money, whatever it is showing up in a higher vibrational energy. And to constantly move in the direction of becoming that person, of being that person, and not get too caught up with the low vibrational stuff for very long. Okay. So process that stuff 100%, move yourself through that, but then always strive to be that identity that you want to be and shift into that. Okay. Bring forward that energy, bring forward that magnetic, energy to whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. Those are some of the questions that they wanted me to share with all of you today to help you with this process. I would highly recommend going back and listening to those questions, writing them down, journaling about this, because it's not going to help you if you just listen and you think, oh my God, that's me, that's resonating with me, or yeah, I do that, or whatever, and then you just leave it there. If you want to see massive changes in your life, you have to do something. You have to put in the work, okay? You have to put in the energy. If you don't like the word work, it's okay. Choose whatever phrase or terminology works for you. Okay, because sometimes I go through those moments where certain words don't resonate with me. So, but the point is that you have to do something to transform yourself, to see the transformation, because it's so easy for us to remember things and know it in that moment. But the way to really cement it in, the way to really propel ourselves forward is by actually doing some kind of action around it. That's how we ground things into reality. We're physical beings. We want to see shifts in our physical reality. We have to ground it into physical reality in some level, which means we have to do some kind of action around that. And what helps as far as action goes is writing down these questions, contemplating on them, and then being able to have that to use as a guide to help us to move forward. So as you go through these questions, compare the version of yourself of who you are now or who you have been in regards to all of these questions or other ones that come to your mind, and then compare it to the next level version of yourself that is more empowered, that is able to make this impact, that is able to make this income. And how do they show up differently? What are their answers to all of these questions? And really just compare the two things so you can see for yourself, like, holy smokes, like, no wonder I haven't been able to make that impact, that influence, to get that money, because this is who I've been. This is what I've been feeling. This is how I've been taking action or not taking action, what I've been believing, all these different things. And that other version of myself is a completely different person. And so, yeah, naturally, I'm not going to get the things that I want in life. I'm not going to get those results because I've been being this person instead of this person, right? And it's literally the equivalent to, and this is what also came to my mind initially when I first channeled this, but it's like you're going to a high-end place, like a high-end hotel or something like that. And quite often as humans, we judge based on appearances, okay? This is something we probably would benefit from letting go of, but that's what we generally do. We judge based on appearances. We can judge even based on energy, right? Someone you might meet just might have like a weird energy about them where you're like, I don't know about that person, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be about appearances, but to make it more concrete, let's go with appearances. So let's say you go into a high-end hotel. Now, the person who is dressed in name brand stuff and they have like name brand suitcases and they just look really rich, really wealthy, okay? When they go into the hotel, they're gonna probably be treated and greeted differently from a person who has like raggedy clothes on or dirty clothes on. The experience that they're going to have is different. People are going to want to make that rich person's life easier. They're going to want to accommodate them. They're going to want them to feel good, to feel comfortable in those spaces. And then the person that is having the raggedy or dirty clothes, they're just going to want to maybe not even attend them, maybe be like, hey, are you in the right place? Or what can we help you with? Looking a bit like, what are you doing here? But, that kind of thing. So the experience is a little bit different. So that's the same kind of thing as, the identity that you have been being is only a match for a certain level of like, I don't want to say treatment, but like certain things in life. Okay. That's what you've been able to manifest. Whereas when you become this empowered version of yourself, you get a completely different experience. Like everything just flows. People want to accommodate you. Things just come to you easily. It just all works out because you're radiating that. That's what you're expecting. When people look at you, that's what they want to give you. That's what they feel inclined to give you because of how you're appearing to them. So they're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to make things easier for you. Hope that made sense. Acknowledge the reason that you're at where you're at in life, or that you have what you have in life, is because of what you've been being. Okay. That's the first step, is just acknowledging, like recognizing and then acknowledging, taking ownership for that. Because if you don't take ownership for that, you're not going to be able to change it. You have to really own up to the fact that, okay, you know what? Yeah, I have been playing small. Yeah, I have been being less than what I know I really have the potential to be. I've been really holding myself back. I've been being this person, and that's okay. It's okay that I've been that person, because I can see now, I can really connect the dots now from this video or other things, that you've read along the way or listened to or whatever, that's the reason why my life has gone down this path, this journey. That's why I've been in this place in my life, or I've been stuck or whatever, because I've been being that person. But you have the power. You have the power to choose who you want to be. You're always changing who you want to be. And a powerful example of this that I heard recently from another person is, we constantly change who we are depending on who we're with. So when we're with our children, we are a certain way. We're more playful, maybe we're a certain, energy with them. When we're with our family, we are a certain way with them. When we are with our romantic partners, we are a certain way with them. We change and evolve depending on, what's needed and who we're with. When we're at our jobs, we're a certain way as well, right? So we change and evolve depending on who we're with and what's needed. So our identity is always changing. It's always fluid. It's always moving. So you always have the opportunity to change who you have been in business moving forward. You have the opportunity to choose differently, to become a different person, to show up in a different way. But you have to do that. You have to choose that. And then you have to make sure that how you're showing up in life is highly reflective of that new version of yourself. That how you show up is different, how you think about money is different, what you believe about yourself is different, that you take certain different action steps. I know so many people who want to make an impact, they want to touch people's lives, and they're still afraid of doing Facebook Live videos. And it's like, okay, but if you dream of touching all these lives and you want to help them with this work, and you feel like video is important to you, but you still keep holding back from doing the Facebook Live videos, then how are you ever going to make that impact? You have to do something. You have to break through that fear and start doing those videos. You have to show up. You have to speak your truth. You have to do it again and again and again until you go from that identity that is petrified of doing Facebook Live videos and feels super insecure around doing Facebook Live videos. And then you become that new identity that owns Facebook Live videos like a boss and shows up powerfully and confidently and shares their truth and just does the thing, right? The only way to shift from one identity to the next is showing up differently, is taking the action steps gradually to become that version of yourself, right? And like I said earlier, you quite often need to take certain action steps to really ground the fact that you are this person. That is how you tell your subconscious mind, hey, I'm not that person anymore. I'm this person now. And that's why we're doing things differently. That's why I'm showing up in this way, because that's who I am now. That's how you start shifting things in regards to your identity, how you tell your subconscious mind that you are now this new person. But if you never take the action steps, if you never show up differently, you never choose differently, you never do or feel differently, then you're going to continue to remain attached to the old identity who keeps going down this hamster wheel, the same kind of pattern, the same kind of thing again and again. And then you continue to create reality from that space instead of creating more of the reality that you want, right? So how you shift, how you transition is you have to do things completely differently to become that person and break free from your old identity and step into this new identity, and then raise your vibration to get a new reality. So if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. If this video resonated with you, definitely give this video a thumbs up, a like wherever you're watching from. If you enjoyed this video and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this, because I do upload them every week. And if you enjoyed this video in particular, this is a video that I did in my Facebook community. The link to that is in the description of this video. I do live video teachings on YouTube every Friday. So make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss these teachings. The next video that I am going to do, which I'm super excited about, oh my God, like I'm so fired up this week. It's amazing. The video that I'm going to do on Wednesday this week is on why people have trouble transforming into the versions of themselves that they need to be to create the impact that they want and unlock abundance. So it follows off of this video teaching and goes more in depth with it. And I'm super excited about it because I channeled it yesterday. And I was just like, I wanted to do both of these videos yesterday. I was on fire, but my guys were like, no, wait till tomorrow. It's best that way. So we're following the guidance of the guides. because they know what's best. And I've learned that in my journey, 100%. I just got to trust them. If you enjoyed this video teaching, you like these kinds of concepts, you're ready to transform into that empowered version of yourself that you need to be to create your impact and create abundance in your life, I invite you to come and join me in Soul Aligned Impact. It's a very powerful 8-week program that's going to help you to radically transform your identity. It's going to take you through this process, through letting go on so many different levels again and again and again, mind, body, spirit, to really step into more of who you need to be to create this impact and create the income and the influence and all the things that you desire. So that is the purpose of Soul Aligned Impact. There are flexible payment plans. So if this program has been speaking to you because you've been hearing me talk about it, write about it in all the different places, reach out to me, ask me. It never hurts to ask what possibilities you have to be in this program. It's a very powerful program that is going to take you through this process to really radically let go of who you've been, let go of your old identity, to step into the new, because it is primarily a mindset program. That's what we talked about with my guides like over a month ago when I first channeled it. It's mostly a mindset program to help spiritual entrepreneurs really powerfully go out there and create their impacts and create their dream lives and businesses, and to really help them to empower themselves in this way to start seeing massive results in their businesses, to start seeing powerful manifestations. Because again, everything that we want is available right now. It's in existence right now. We have the opportunity or the possibility of receiving it now. But to receive it now, we have to change internally first and foremost. This is the only way it's going to come about. So we have to go through that process of releasing all of these different things that we need to let go of in order to become that version of ourselves that then has these things in alignment. And it's really interesting because it has to do with the 10 pillars of creating a successful spiritual soul-aligned business. Is we're going to help you recognize what limiting beliefs and fears and crap you have in regards to each of these 10 pillars, so you can gradually release the resistance, the low vibrations, and each pillar bring your business into alignment to create powerful results. And the first pillar of this, the 10 pillars to creating a successful soul-aligned business, is soul alignment. You have to be aligned with your soul, with who you truly are. Because again, your identity, everything stems from your identity. So you have to really be connected to the identity of who you truly are on the spiritual soul level to really recognize your true power and worthiness and capacity, so that everything else from there can succeed. So this is why we're doing a lot of deep healing and mindset work and healing and stuff in the program initially, and then we'll shift into all of the other things to help you create success in your business. So if that speaks to you, reach out to me, message me with your questions. And I wish you all an amazing week. Have an amazing week. It's a very exciting week, and I will see you in the next video. If you want to be on my email list, check out the link that I'll post afterwards for you to sign up. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Bye.